Alright guys, we got the downpipe off. Pretty smooth, but you can tell how much oil is in here. That it was definitely the secondary that's been one of the big issues. Yo everyone, welcome back to another part of the Legacy build series. Honestly, I don't know what episode this is. At this point with the car, we've done a bunch of test fitting, which you would have seen in one of the videos where we pretty much got the wheels on and then they fell apart. And we decided to rebuild everything and go to smaller wheels just because of the tire sizes that I'm running. So you can see here, I'm in the process of rebuilding my rears, just trying to get the tires off right now. Already taking them apart, faces are there. The two other tires are in the truck right now. I just got the tires and the wheels taken apart. I'm gonna rebuild those. Today, our project is replacing this secondary turbo. So I've been having a lot of smoking issues lately, and we replaced the primary recently, which solved a lot of problems, but then I was still getting smoking when I was getting close to twin. So this right here is actually my old primary, which you can tell seals very blown. And then right here we have the new secondary, the valve actuator, which I will be installing today with Rob. It shouldn't take that long. It's not a super complex install. Basically, we just need to lift the car up, undo the downpipe, undo the uppipe, any vacuum lines associated with it, and it should just pop out. Hopefully. And that will hopefully, I'm gonna replace my PCV valve also, or at least take this one out and clean it for now. See if it's like plugged at all, see if it's still like rattling like they're supposed to be, and yeah, we're gonna go from there. So for now I'm gonna start by pulling the intercooler, which is just a few little hoses and clamps, not too big of a deal. Then I'm gonna spray everything down with PB Blaster while I wait for Rob to get here, jack the car up, start trying to take the downpipe bolts off, and yeah, we'll go from there. Everything is gonna be covered in oil. Alright guys, so as you can see here, my secondary turbo is just so covered in oil. That turbo, that's my primary. There's a little bit of blow by, but that's basically from this thing jamming my PCV, which is just under the throttle body here. Right, this hose goes to the PCV valve, so I'm gonna check that guy also. And yeah, you can just see there's oil everywhere, just because it's probably been spraying out all over the place. You think that's real funny, don't you? So the next step is we just gotta pop this heat shield off, which is gonna be a bit of a bitch. And then downpipe, up pipe, and then the turbo should pretty much come off with these coolant lines and oil lines off. But that should be pretty easy.
What you doing?
I see it. Just dropped, did the classic drop socket in the engine bay and it doesn't hit the ground. It's like every person who works on their car's worst nightmare.
just happened? In a very spacious place where...
See it? Yeah, it's right under my brake line. I need to just pop it off the edge. It's on the frame rail. Alright, so surprisingly, all 4 downpipe bolts came off very smooth. Now we just gotta pull, it's too dark in there. There's up pipe bolts. Up pie. There, you can see that blurry thing right there. So we're gonna impact these up pipe bolts. Hopefully it goes smooth. They're just a little bit too tight to get by hand. And then we're gonna do oil feed, coolant feed and drain, and then oil drain is on the bottom, but we should just be able to yank that guy off. I might have to get under the car to be able to pull the exhaust off to get this downpipe off, but yeah. Alright guys, so this is really hard to tell, but I'm under the car right now, and I've been at this for about an hour and a half. And so that is the steering column. We got the steering rack. You can see it's covered in oil from my turbo just dripping and spilling everywhere. Basically, there's this one little nut on this heat shield. You can see right there where my middle finger is kind of toggling over. That sits a little bit higher. I just got it off, but to be able to get that that nut off, you actually have to drop the steering rack, which is super inconvenient. Oh my gosh, I'm like losing it right now. Yeah, you have to drop the steering rack, you have to loosen this piece of the steering column, and then you can you need to use like an adapter or like a bendy piece to be able to get a 10 mil on there to get it off. That took me an hour and a half right there. Now I'm just gonna pull that heat shield out, and then it should be relatively smooth sailing for the rest of this, but we won't count our chickens before they hatch. I'm just hoping it goes smooth. YouTube party! Hey!
Exceptioning. Whoa!
Wait. Maybe that didn't work as planned.
No, it worked. I can see myself. No. Is he testing it? Hey! This is a community!
Hey!
He's so
There's
pissed.
children already.
Alright guys, so in the last bit of time, Kyle came over. It's been a while since, I don't think Kyle's actually ever been on my channel before.
I don't think so.
No, because I didn't vlog at that Davenport event. I just did like the after video thing.
Yeah.
So, boosted lifestyle, building 9-second Supra. We almost got the turbo out, but like more Subaru things, there is just so many weird nuts and bolts in weird spots. So it sucks. You guys should also subscribe to Rob.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Well, there's like 20,000 people looking at me right now.
Because his STI is cool too. Look at this. Look at this.
You have to say your channel name though.
Rob Hartson.
Yeah. Don't get mad at me for it. I'm nervous.
Yeah, so I gotta get, basically, there's like, this is my new turbo, and there's a screw that goes right here and attaches onto this guy right here, and it's almost inaccessible. So I'm trying to find a way to get at it right now, and it's a huge bitch. Filming things.
Yeah, I'm behind the scenes today.
Yeah. So yeah, more Subaru stuff. I will update you guys when I actually get the turbo out of here. Alright, so it is the next day. I ended up getting the turbo out, but we had to cut the oil drain line right here. Just because there's no way to get to this little clamp here. Pop this guy off. Luckily I have some hose. This is oil right here. It has poured out of the turbo inlet side just in the small amount of time that I've had it out. That should never happen to a turbo. It's pretty common with these secondary turbos on the Legacies because they don't see anything except for full boost ever. So they're pretty common to just blow up. So we got our new guy. I'm just gonna actually cut off the coolant drain line also, and I've got new hose for that. The one thing that you can do if you're having an issue like I was having, where this is my new oil drain, and I have to bend it this really weird 90-degree angle, and it was folding in on itself, is you can wrap the hose in zip ties and do them up like super tight, and then when you actually bend the hose, it won't collapse in on itself because the zip ties are kind of holding it together. It'll collapse a tiny bit, but it will be more than enough for oil to flow still. So that's just a quick solution if you can't find like a funky hose that actually has like a 90 in it or something like that. So I'm going to be using this, throwing it back on the drain into the block and then the drain from the turbo. So yeah. Oh, okay guys, so it's been about 2 hours since I did the last update. I actually got the turbo in. It went in quite smoothly. There we go. Now I'm just buttoning everything up. I got the turbo on the up pipe, that's all bolted on, and I got the down pipe on, that's all nice and tight. I got my oil drain line all properly set up. I got the coolant drain. I got the diverter valve, not diverter valve, but just kind of like plug thing that's fully attached there. Now I'm just going to be kind of going in and, oh, that's all gross inside there. I'm gonna be plugging this, where are we? This guy back on here, and then yeah, we're gonna be pretty much close to done this SUBARU. Just got a bunch of vacuum lines to install back in. I'm gonna do an oil change. Also, I did an oil change no more than maybe 800, 900 kilometers ago, but with all the everything, all the weird burning of oil and all this blow by and everything, and I don't know if I actually might have gotten any coolant into my oil drain line. I just don't want to risk anything, so I'm just gonna do an oil change, put some fresh oil in, give this thing kind of like a fresh start right now, just so that it's feeling nice and healthy and everything. The next maintenance stuff that this car needs mainly is just the timing belt done, which will be another project that I'll probably do as soon as I get back from Driven Vancouver. Okay. Fuck. See you on the internet. Morgan! Okay, wait, which way is zoomed out? Nope, there we go. Alright, so it's been about 3 hours since an update. It is all back together. Intercooler is on. The new old turbo, she's just chilling right there, and then we got the primary chilling right there. Yeah, I ended up having to do a bunch more work. I took out my spark plugs just to check them. They had a bunch of oil all over them, so I changed to some old, cleaner ones temporarily. I'm gonna run these ones just for now until it burns off all the oil that was in the system from that super blown turbo, and then put brand new ones in once everything's cleaned out and stuff. So now we're gonna fire it up. I'm gonna let it kind of just idle for a while, warm up so that it can open up the thermostat and get the coolant flowing. And then, yeah, hopefully this goes. I'm not actually gonna drive it tonight because I still don't have an alignment or any of that stuff, and I don't really feel like roasting these tires with a bad alignment. So, as long as it idles and can drive maybe down the street a tiny bit, I'll be happy. So, yeah. Morgan got a new car.
Go look at it.
It's in the distance. We'll go check that out later. Cut.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap. We're out here fixing legacies, breaking legacies, trying to drift legacies. None of it's happening.